渚ちゃん、台湾カステラ食べない？
何？お前はもう死んでいる。
食べる。
Episode 3. Ma, freedom, freedom. So, where to start with this episode? This is actually a bit of a tough one because there's a lot of points that I'd like to kind of go off with. I guess I might as well go with the comedy this time around.
Okay.
Well, there's definitely a lot more of it. That's the start.
Yeah. And definitely, I mean, there's still the practical comedic elements.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But particularly when it comes to like the animation style and the editing, where they're doing like the freeze framing and it's sort of like instead of a 3D animation style, it's the 2D.
Yeah, that was pretty neat.
Yeah.
Well, shall we talk? Actually, what was the most enjoyable comedic moment? I have a feeling I've got a rough idea what you'd go for, but I'd like to see if I'm right.
For me, I'm not sure. There's some pretty good ones. I'm not sure if mine is easily picked, but it was sort of because like it was very relatable when they're in the sauna and then they come out of the sauna and they're eating the popsicles. That is something that I actually do really like. So
yeah, I definitely enjoyed that the first time around.
Yeah.
Like literally just before the moment before they end up outside of it, I was laughing my head off when I was initially watching it.
for sure. Yeah, they're like it's sort of like the teapot slowly bubbling and heating up, and then they finally burst. So that's probably mine. What's yours?
It'd have to be Toa being Toa.
Fair enough. Cool.
Again, you can see why I see her as best girl.
Yeah. I get you. Cool.
Although one that I also like to bring up is the Twister scene.
Uh-huh.
I just found that hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah. That was cool. I like that one as well.
I guess we don't need to go in depth because we probably have the clip playing over this.
Yeah. Yes. I found it interesting that so far, episode 2 and episode 3, they both have opened with Mooney. I wonder.
Initially when I was watching that at the start of episode 3, I was like, is it just going to repeat how it started episode 2? But it sort of does, but then puts a nice little spin on it.
Yeah. So I wonder if that'll continue into the next episode or not.
I don't think it is. I think it's just for like this kind of, I say arc, but
yeah, it is a bit of an arc, I guess. On
it's probably not like an actual arc, but I'm just going to call it an arc.
For lack of a better term. The social media engagement arc, I guess, held over 2 episodes. That was an interesting thing.
Oh, I got an idea to make that one scene comedic, but I guess, well, they'll know what I've chosen because they'll see that before we started talking.
Uh-huh.
So I guess that's a nice little surprise that you're going to get, but it's not really a surprise because it's already happened.
Right.
But it's going to happen in post, so it hasn't happened yet. So what Shrojing is cat?
I guess so, yeah. Something like that.
It has already happened, but it is yet it's not quite Shrojing as cat. I guess at this state, it's not in existence yet, but it will be by the time you're seeing it. So but then if it's not added, then does it really exist at all?
The idea exists, but then that's a whole nother philosophical debate.
Well, anyways, should we get back on with it?
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it.
Also, I guess something which has been reoccurring is sort of like the emphasis on seasons as well.
Yeah.
Definitely in episode 2, you had the emphasis on it being cold.
Yeah.
Well,
now. Of course, it is going through the months.
Yeah.
But really, going from Feb to March?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that when the seasons changed?
Yeah.
But I guess it must be later on in that month because there had to be some residual snow around if it was the start of the month.
Possibly. I mean, I'm not too familiar with Japan's seasonal changes. I know definitely here in Australia where, sometimes even though summer's meant to start in the start of December, it's generally here pretty well off in like late October.
Yeah.
So
Although I guess at the time of recording, it has been a bit different. It's only summer started to hit midway through summer.
yeah, so a little bit of a delay in this particular season.
Although, isn't that usually in the seasons when it gets really hot? No, I think it comes on the really hot seasons. It comes a bit early.
Yeah, generally. It's a much more warmer spring. And then, sort of winter comes a bit earlier.
Wow, we're not even like 5 minutes. Well, I guess we're kind of 5 minutes in and we're already gone off 2 tangents.
But yeah, so I think that's cool. I wonder, I don't think they would be able to do that in the next episode unless it had like another drastic change. But I would assume that, in 2 or 3 more episodes time that they would make that point again, that like the seasons are changing. So it would be going into summer.
Although I guess we should kind of, like we did last episode, have a bet. Is there going to be another live performance?
In the next one?
Yeah.
That's an interesting question.
I'm leaning towards yes from the preview.
Yeah. I would think so, considering, the preview at the end featuring Rondo, the members of Rondo, it definitely makes it out that there will be a live performance featured in episode 4. Although there definitely during this episode, another sort of reoccurring theme is like the growing pressure starting to build between all the units. They're only just starting to sort of realize the thing that they've committed to.
I was gonna say the what's the word I'm looking forward to, the not the seriousness of the situation, but the kind of how deep they've gotten into the deep end.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess they're just starting to grasp the depth of what they've committed to.
Yeah,
that's it
for sure. That definitely puts it pretty well. I guess especially they sort of emphasized the growing audience online throughout the social media campaign that they did. So yeah, I guess also the opportunity might be more serious now than it was back in episode 1, where it's sort of it was sort of more flaunted that it was just this very casual sort of festival or event that would happen at the end of each month, where now it seems to be a bit more serious.
Yeah, I was kind of getting that vibe.
Yeah.
Although, sorry to interrupt, I didn't know where to put this, but during the Lyrical Elise live performance, just the old couple just having the time of their lives, I just wanted to bring that up. Just something wholesome about these, like they look like they're in their 60s, 70s, probably even older, and yet they're having the time of their lives, which is like, how are they not injuring themselves?
That's funny. I didn't even think of that. Fair enough.
I just found it a bit out of place considering that, well, I guess if you were watching First Mix, it was all school students, so it's kind of, for me, it's just was weird because it's like, there should be definitely adults here, but it's like, really, people that are like this old, it's like, it's kind of surprising they would show up to a performance like that.
That's interesting, because obviously you do see like the older couple that own Cafe Vinyl. So I wonder.
But I'm talking about like a couple that's like older than that.
Yeah. So
much older. Like it's understandable for why they would show up.
For sure. So I wonder. I mean, it sort of does come back to the idea of the series as a whole of sort of like connection, and specifically for this season of the show, where the whole thing is like connection and community. So I guess rather than just having let's just say under 30s to just only be showing them to have a broader range of people there.
But even then, it also sort of makes sense considering that the town is mostly full of much older people, and that was the whole point of the project.
For sure.
Was to kind of bring in flesh meat.
Yeah.
I probably should have used that word, but I guess I'm going to have to commit to that now.
Fair enough. I guess on the topic of Lyrical Lily's performance and the song in particular, what are your thoughts?
Oh, I do enjoy it, but I think my Piki Piki bias is strong, and so I can say Piki Piki's performance was much better, but I still really like Lyrical Lily's performance.
Yeah, fair enough.
At least I've done my job of pointing out how biased I am.
Yes, yeah, that's fair enough. I particularly liked the arrangement and the structural arrangement of the song. It wasn't sort of like a standard pop song, which I think I sort of associated Lyrical Lily with.
Well, that's where I guess I differ from you, because it kind of feels like an evolution of what Lyrical Lily does.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. But yeah, I liked how like the song, it had a nice way of developing and sort of growing, and so it gets to a high point in the chorus and then it drops back down and builds back up. So I really like that. As for, I guess, just like the overall style, it was pretty cool and definitely different to the first performance with Piki Piki.
I'd say where Lyrical Lily does do better than Piki Piki was in the visual aspect. Don't get me wrong, the visuals were pretty good for Piki Piki's performance, but I think it was just how the visuals for Lyrical Lily fit the theme they were going for.
Okay.
That's what I think pushes it over the edge in that department, but I think overall, I think Piki Piki is better.
Yeah.
Especially the use of an instrument that I don't even hear that often, and now I want to hear more songs with that instrument that
Fair
it kicks
enough.
off with.
Yeah. Cool. I like it.
Well, I guess while we're here, which one's... I might as well ask you, which one's better?
I think for me, I mean, it's sort of hard because I guess, there isn't as much of Lyrical Lily out there. So for me, I think for this one, it's going to be Lyrical Lily. Just because, I'm not as familiar with them compared to Piki Piki.
There we go. Hopefully I come in a little better there, because I noticed I was a bit quiet.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I think so far I've enjoyed Lyrical Lily's new song slightly more than Piki Piki's.
Like, I just enjoy it because I find Lyrical Lily songs hit or miss. So although there's definitely some that I like wasn't a fan of, and it's like over time, like I like this.
Sure.
Although one that I absolutely love is I Shall Be Cat. I just for some reason love it.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Actually, I think I know why, but I'm not going to be at liberty to say why.
Okay. Fair enough.
Might as well get my legal disclaimers out of the way as well.
And I guess another sort of theme that's definitely popped up in this episode is collaboration again. It was very strong in episode 2, and it's sort of come back in episode 3. Which it'll be interesting to see if that continues on in the same way, particularly with Rondo, because they are the older ones out of the units. So just see if they, I guess, can continue that same sort of connection with the younger people in all the other units. Will be interesting. Do you have any theories or thoughts on?
Well, I'd say I have a bit of a sneaking feeling that Rondo's going to kind of keep some stuff low key, but I think there's still going to be some collaboration.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with what I was saying before, but I had to stop myself because I felt like I was going to mess it up.
Fair enough.
But I feel like there's going to be some collaboration, but there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to be behind closed doors, so to speak.
Yeah.
Especially with what seems to be them possibly spying on the others and seeing what they're doing.
Right. That's interesting.
And that's what's got me so interested for the next episode is that what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Because I think it's going to happen the way I'm thinking it's going to play out, that they're spying on the other units, but it could just be something completely different. They could be spying on
Right.
something, but not the other units.
Fair enough. And that sort of leads me to the next sort of, because Photon Maiden is, I guess, a major label unit. I wonder, if they're going to have any sort of like restrictions put on them when it comes to the song or songs that they work on, and when it comes to collaboration as well. So,
Yes, but actually no. This is probably the best way to sum that up, because I'm not sure if you've forgotten or probably just need a bit of brush up on First Mix. They actually got permission to kind of make the song they wanted to make
yeah,
near the end of First Mix.
yeah,
So that means I know that the I'm not sure if the company, but their managers like willing to kind of let them off their leash to
yeah.
do something creative.
So there's some wiggle room there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I think it's always going to take us them to make be like, let them off the reins and they do something that ruins their reputation or is just complete dog crap, and then it's
Yeah,
like rein back in and probably be a bit more stricter and not as willing to let them off the leash.
yeah. Like
So
I
that-
wonder if say if they do have sort of some wiggle room, or they're allowed to be let off the leash, whether like the manager or the company that they're with has to, I guess, approve anything before it gets released.
And I have a feeling their manager is kind of high up there, so it could be the one in charge of the company. For all
Possibly.
we know.
Possibly. So
I
yeah,
probably could know if I was to dive through some of the stories and that, but I kind of have a hard enough time to play the game, much less kind of
Yeah.
go through the stories.
fair enough. Cool.
Yeah, Mike punch. It was actually more like a backslap.
Did you did you have any other points you wanted to discuss?
I think we did cover a lot of the bases, but
Yeah.
I feel like there's something we're missing.
What about something they definitely delved into a lot in this episode as well, is like a theme for every month. A big part of this episode was basically Lyrical Lily trying to find a theme. So I wonder if that's going to be like a consistent thing that comes up in every consecutive episode.
Yeah, I'd say the next month would still be spring, because the whole point of this month was the start of spring.
Yep.
So what else would be spring-ish? That's what I'm thinking. It's going to be something to do with spring that maybe it's more something that we wouldn't think of, but something that, let's say, someone from Japan would think of.
Yeah, that was definitely a big part. Like, they brought up a lot, different poems and haikus.
Haikus. It's something that I would have liked to pick up and do, but I don't think I would be able to do. It's like I'd say probably haikus are better than poetry, but
Fair enough.
I'm not really into either, even though I'd like to really kind of get into haikus.
Yeah. And
I think the only poet that I even like is Banjo Patterson, but who doesn't like Banjo Patterson?
yeah.
I
Fair
guess
enough.
a lot of people that ain't Australian.
Probably.
They probably never heard of him up until this point.
Yeah. And they definitely mentioned a lot of very like Japanese specific things as well. When it comes to the particular flowers that they mentioned, and that sort of thing, and sake, which is
Oh, that stuff's good. I've actually had some.
cool. Yeah, I've never
That
tried.
was a fun
sake.
day.
So one last point that I'd like to bring up is the title of the episode, Freedom, Freedom. Your thoughts on the title itself?
Well, it's kind of obvious the name of the title for both episode 1 and 2.
Absolutely. That was my thought as well.
Where
Is-
episode 3 is not super clear, but I've got a good idea as to what it could mean,
Okay.
which I guess now I have to explain that, which
Yes, please.
is my weakness is, I was like, everything connects in my head. Me
Right.
trying to explain it is like, I think I've got a meme that I'll insert here.
Uh-huh.
And now I'm going to slap the mic. Great. So what, I'm going to be on like a mic offenders list or something.
Yeah, hit me with your theory.
It's kind of well, them sort of being free to do whatever they want, but then the kind of the struggle that comes with being free to do whatever you want.
Okay.
Hence, kind of freedom, and then freedom question mark.
I getcha.
Like, don't get me wrong, I've probably oversimplified it and probably explained it completely different to what I'm thinking in my head. But again, it's better than me saying probably or like or something like that.
Sure.
I'd rather have a half-assed explanation than me just spending a
Right.
good few minutes trying to figure out what to say.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. I mean, there is comparisons there between episode 1 and episode 3, you know, like beginning. I wonder why it's twice.
Well, I guess it's the beginning of the beginning.
I mean, I guess so. That's one way. But then, yeah, with freedom, the question mark added in there on the
I
second
think that's
one.
what's really the curveball. But I think
Yeah.
it's just like, I'd say I was about to get really deep there, but are we truly free?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you think about sort of, early on in the episode, maybe because it specifically focuses on Lyrical Lily for this one, you know, they're not, because they're the ones that were, you know, sort of, I guess, commissioned from the start. You know, they're
There we go. Hopefully they're coming better now. I just had to adjust it.
they're not, maybe it's more focusing on them, you know, they're not free from the consequences, you know, because they had to sort of step up.
Yeah, well, I guess that's also one way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Much better than what I tried to explain.
You know, yeah, so it's like if everything fails, I guess it all comes back to them because they were sort of like the instigators of the entire thing from the start.
I can understand that feeling like of things coming back to bite you.
Yeah. But yeah, they're like, to me, they're just some spitball sort of theories. I can't really put my finger on anything definitively.
I guess, what was the title for next episode? Oh, okay. Storm.
Spring Storm.
Okay, that actually gives me more ideas of what the next episode could be about.
Okay.
So I think something like Storm is definitely very fitting for Rondo, especially if you were to kind of dive into the lyrics of their songs like I did.
Right. Okay.
Because their songs, even though they do have a bit of a kind of upbeat sound to them, if you go through the lyrics are fairly dark compared to the
Right.
the feeling you get from the instrumentation.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Spring Storm.
Like a good example is the lyrics to the song Nirvana.
Right.
Like that song's pretty upbeat,
Yeah.
but the lyrics are a bit on quite the dark side
Yeah.
compared to the instrumentation.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Oh, that's just the way I interpretate it. There's probably others that interpret it completely different.
That's definitely a big part of music in general. I guess sort of going back to the whole sort of seasons and weather sort of thing, and then putting in Spring Storm, you know, so far we've seen fairly good weather.
Yeah,
So maybe even, you know, something that we haven't theorized is like there might be a show that is missed because of like
Severe weather.
severe weather. So
I would say I don't think Japan gets caught by typhoons much. I think typhoons are more of a seaborne phenomenon.
yeah.
Phenomenon. I had to do it. I couldn't help myself.
So yeah, that I think that would be cool as well. You know, shake things up.
Yeah, it's definitely going to make things interesting.
Particularly when it's you know.
Although
Also-
I'm going to make a quick bet here. I have a feeling that this Rondo's performance is probably going to be a bit more metal than
Yeah.
what they normally do, which they have
You reckon?
songs that kind of, I would say, would already kind of go into heavy metal territory. But
Yeah.
I'm going to say it again that they're probably going to do something that's a bit more heavy metal. I'm willing to put like $5 on it.
Fair enough. Cool.
I'm going to have to pony up $5.
Yeah. I guess.
I feel like I'm going to be wrong, but I have a feeling I'm going to be right. So I'm willing to take a gamble here.
fair enough.
I guess to even add a bit more detail, when I mean kind of more heavy metal, I'd say something more Metallica-esque would be
Right.
awesome by Rondo. I want that to happen so badly, so that's why I'm going to put some money on the line.
It's interesting theory, and it'd be pretty cool. Particularly if
Although I think Rondo style would probably be more fitting for something like Black Sabbath, although they're a bit more
Right.
fast-paced. But I think with kind of the theme of the lyrics and that, although it'd be interesting to have a more slower-paced Rondo song, which would basically then make it a Black Sabbath song.
Yeah, in that vein for sure. No, that's cool. All right, wrap this one up here.
Although, don't we have to cover the bingo board first?
Oh, yes.
Although, is there anything we would add to it?
Well, let's have a look.
So we've already ticked off that, and that. I don't think there's really anything here.
No, nothing to tick off this week for the bingo board.
So I guess with that out of the way.
Mm-hmm. All right, thanks for joining us. Episode 3 of
D4DJ. I was going to say double mix. I was going to say all mix. I was like, no, is it double mix? But no, it's all mix.
It's definitely All Mix. Of the All Mix review series. Let us know your favorite parts of the episode.
And also your ideas for what's coming up next.
Yeah, and your theories of what's going to come up in episode 4. Check out the description box below for links to all our social media accounts and in particular the very important Patreon.
I say you say important, but I say it's like we only have that there just so we have that in the future ready to go.
Fair
But if you want to support, you can support.
Yes, it definitely would
Although
help out.
there's something else I was thinking. Oh yeah, well if you do enjoy this episode, don't forget to leave it a like and then share it with your friends. I would say your relatives, but I think your friends would be more into it than your relatives. But who knows?
Who knows? And we'll see you next time.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.